There was never a point when I thought it wasn't going to happen. Once we got this ball rolling, once we had all these collaborators from business, NGOs, governments and others, there was no stopping it. GHG Protocol is the world's most trusted measurement and reporting system. It's the backbone of nearly every climate initiative, whether it's voluntary or regulatory. Nearly every Fortune 500 company is using this. It was ahead of its time, but just in time. At that moment when we created it, the governments had stalled through the Kyoto Protocol process and the arguments about whether developing countries should participate in trading. And so there was a leadership vacuum. And companies knew that regulations were coming, they were expecting them. They didn't know how to prepare for them. So getting your house in order with an accounting and reporting standard and knowing what your risks and opportunities were was a great first step.
I met Janet from WRI in a pub. We had a beer. I said, look, if we could do something tangible, fundamental to a lot of this is agreeing on how you measure and account for greenhouse gas emissions.
You know, one of my favorite proverbs is this African proverb. If you want to go far, take many people with you, but don't expect to get there fast. If you want to go fast, go alone, but don't expect to get very far.
She knew that the only way to build a protocol that would be universally adopted and used widely is if it had a much broader coalition. So it took convincing to get that company and that trade association to agree to do it.
A standard only becomes a standard if it's widely used. So the idea behind the multi-stakeholder process is that we bring in all those users, whether they were companies or people designing climate initiatives, NGOs or governments, bring them in there, co-create it, and then they own it and they'll use it and it'll spread. There were many companies attempting to measure and report their emissions, and they were kind of running into these basic questions like, do you include your product emissions? Do you include your electricity? What do you do about joint ventures? Agreeing on the scope of the measurement and reporting system, was it just the direct operations or the whole value chain, product supply chains, was one of the more challenging moments. And the three scopes was the way we resolved that. There were direct emissions sources that are owned and controlled by the company. The owned and controlled emissions was scope 1. There was no disagreement on that. Everyone said, yes, we ought to do that. And there are indirect emissions that the company influenced but happened elsewhere in the value chain. Success factors. Timing was good for us. The multi-stakeholder process created this credibility, plus the transparent way that we ran the process. It was kind of like an open kitchen table. We invited everyone in.
WRI's credibility got some good NGOs on board, and my relationship with the companies got some of the, again, good technical people on board.
It was an exciting time. We had actually engaged companies in saying it was important to move forward on climate change, and this tool was something that actually went from talking about it to doing something about it.
It also changed the mindset of what a company's responsibility was. It expanded it from being its own fence line direct emissions to its entire value chain. I kind of think about that like it's changed us from just thinking about sweeping your own porch to actually cleaning the whole road. It was successful not because of me or WRI really, but because of all these people that came in and created it and turned it into a success. They owned it, they ran with it, they rolled their sleeves up, they worked those long hours, they were out there doing the outreach for us, they were selling it, they were building it into the next generation or new generation of climate initiatives. It's like it was everywhere. It's like acorns turning into oaks everywhere.
It's been such a long time, so it's hard to look back and say, does this surprise me? Because the protocol has been so fundamental to so many efforts around the world on greenhouse gas reductions and mitigation.
Kind of felt some pride and certainly a satisfaction that something had taken off from this small piece of a conversation in a pub between two people.
It changed the It changed the mindset about what we could do, like the realms of possibility. Like, think about some of the things that follow: new climate economy, the Global Commission on Adaptation, like these large multi-stakeholder initiatives. They took WRI's ambitions to another level. Look at its current 5-year strategy: people, nature and climate together, not separately. System change. Yeah, we haven't stopped. We've kept going there and getting more and more ambitious.